How do you know when you ovulate if your cycle varies? How do you know your fertile window in general if your cycle varies? Our sister has a question. Now, the first thing is, what do you mean by your cycle varies? You have to define it. To some ladies, when they say their cycle varies, what they mean is they don't see their menses on the same calendar date. If that's what you mean, then you still have some work to do. If your interpretation of your cycle varying is that you have calculated your cycle, some months it is 22, you've calculated another month maybe see 28, you've calculated another month is 27-day cycle, another month is 32-day cycle, another month is 34-day cycle, then that is good. It therefore means you already know how to calculate your cycle. So we'll go ahead and look at it. So I'll give you examples in this second scenario, because for the first one, if that's your situation in the first one in which you are just saying that the date keeps changing, then you probably need to go learn how to calculate your cycle. Therefore means you don't know how to calculate cycle. Go to YouTube, search Women's Health Forum. Take your time. I've done a lot of videos on how to calculate your cycle. Watch my YouTube channel and take your time and learn how to calculate your cycle. Now, on the second point, if it's that you know how to calculate your cycle, but you see that the length keeps changing, some lengths will give you 25, some lengths give you 27, some lengths give you 32. The very first thing you should look at this length. Take the various lengths for the past 6 months. Take lengths for the past 6 months and look at this length. What was the shortest length you've ever had? If the shortest length you've ever had and the longest length you've ever had, if you look at the difference between the shortest length in the past 6 months to the longest length, when we talk about length, we talk about cycle length, is more than 9 days, even though I prefer we use only 7 days. Then that cycle becomes irregular. It becomes irregular. But if you look at the shortest length and the longest length, the difference is just within 1 to 7 days, 8 days. You still have a cycle that is averagely normal, but you need to add all of these lengths. If there are 6 lengths, you add all of them and you divide by 6. I know it's a little bit confusing, so let me put some numbers in here. So let's assume that you counted January to February. It gives you 22 days. February to March, it gives you 24-day cycle. March to April, it gives you 25-day cycle. April to May, it gives you 23-day cycle. May to June, it gives you 22-day cycle. So how many do we have? January to February cycle, that's 1. February to March, that is 2. March to April, that's 3. April to May, that's 4. May to June, that's 5. So we have 5 cycles. Among this cycle, what is the shortest length? January to February, cycle number 1. We have 22 days. That's the shortest, because there's 22, 24, 25, 23, 22. So the shortest is 22. What is the longest length among this length we have? 22, 24, 25, 23, 22. The longest length is 25. So the difference between 22 and 25, what's the difference? That's just 2, 3, 4, 5. Difference of about 4 days, right? 3 to 4 days. So yeah, this cycle is within normal range. And in order to come out with your cycle length, because you will not know ovulation without coming out with your cycle length, you are going to add 22 plus 24 plus 25 plus 23 plus 22. You add all these 5 cycles and you divide by the 5. The average you will get, the answer you will get, is what we call your menstrual cycle. It is from this answer you will now get your fertile window. So that's option. That's the first option. The second one, let's say January, February, it gave you, let's say 23 days. February, March, you counted, it gave you, let's say 30-day cycle. March to April, you counted, let's say it gave you 28 days. April to May, after counting, let's say it gave you 28 days again. May to June, after counting, let's say it gave you 32 days. Look at this one. You have 23, 30, 28, 28, 32. The shortest cycle year is 23, and the longest cycle year is 32. What is the difference in terms of the shortest and the longest? The difference here is way above 9 days. Yeah, it's about 9 days, right? So this difference will actually make you to know that this cycle is not regular. So this is an irregular cycle, and with this one you're not going to add and divide to get the average. No, you will not add and divide to have a cycle, unfortunately, because it is completely irregular. So what do? You look for that shortest cycle that you have. What is the shortest cycle? The shortest cycle here is 23. You get ovulation for that shortest cycle. To get ovulation for any cycle, we always subtract 14. So 23 minus 14 will give us 8. You look for the longest cycle you've ever had. The longest here is 32. What is ovulation? We do the same thing. 32 minus 14, it gives you 18. So your fertile window for this second one becomes 8 to the 18th. Become your fertile window. Knowing the ovulation becomes difficult, but you can do ovulation test from that day number 8, climbing right up to 18. This thing needs further explanation for people to understand better. You can join our live stream immediately after this and you'll learn better. But for the first one we counted, I said you're going to add everything and divide by 5 since there are 5 cycles. That one falls within normal, even though the length keeps changing, but the difference is not wide enough for you to say it's an irregular cycle. So for that one, you just add everything and divide by 5. And if you have an answer, let's say at the end of the day you have 25, that becomes your cycle length. So how do you get ovulation for a 25-day cycle? That's just, you now have one cycle, which is 25. So you subtract 14 and the answer will be 11. So we expect to ovulate on day 11. If let's say you have 26, you do it, we also need to ovulate on day 12. I know this will be a little bit cumbersome to understand. Please take your pen, take your paper, and you try to go through it. But if you have any further question, make sure you watch the video. If you have any further question, you can put in the chat. I'll try to make another video. I wish every lady tried to get pregnant very best. Please don't forget to share, don't forget to follow my live stream right now to understand more on this. We're going to have a discussion on this during our live show. May God bless you. Go to YouTube, search Women's Suffer and take your time and learn how to calculate. Those who are interested in a fertility follow-up and you can pay for it, it's an online follow-up. Please use the number on the screen. But if you're in Bamenda, Cameroon, you can visit me directly using the same number. May God bless you. Have a beautiful day.